Welcome, Ringside Collectibles, WrestlingFigures.com, and Wrestling Figs fans. It's still Comic-Con 2020 right now, San Diego Comic-Con from home, remote, and I'm here with the Mattel WWE design team, Bill Miekina and Steve Ozer. Guys, thanks for taking the time to join us. It's awesome that we get to talk to you. Maybe
you
one of the craziest Comic-Cons ever, but what do you think?
Yeah, pretty wild. Happy Comic-Con to everybody. It's still Comic-Con no matter what, and we're making the most of it with virtual reveals and a virtual panel and virtual Q&A with you guys. So we just want this to be as fun as possible, and I think, so far it's been a great time.
We love it. We love it. It's you guys are always so open with us, and it's awesome to hear what you've worked on, what you will be working on, get little tidbits, Comic-Con is like a holiday, basically, for everyone in the wrestling figure world. So let's keep the holiday going. I have to ask first, though, Bill, the beard. Is this like brand new for you? Like, how long has it been going? Is it a quarantine beard? Will it end at the end of quarantine? I have so many questions. Fill me in.
I don't know. I started growing it since the work-at-home order, since the stay-at-home order, work at home, and I'm kind of used to it by now. So I don't know. I know my mom hates it. So that does play into things, but I'm a grown-ass man, so we'll see.
Good, great. It's a great look. You're probably gonna need a new head sculpt though, right?
Yeah, I would need I would need a new head sculpt for my next unofficial referee figure if there.
All right. As long as you don't forget, because we need an updated version. So guys, I'd love to walk through some of the reveals that we saw over this Comic-Con. There's been some pretty incredible, amazing stuff. Like the detail is just reaching a new level. I think wrestling is very controversial at the moment, with lots of opinions flying around about lots of different things. But one thing is definitely for certain: like, you guys are still at the top of your game, and the amount of work that's gone into it and what we're seeing is certainly some of the best work we've seen so far. So great job on it all. The first thing I would like to just throw out there is the highlight for me was the Goldberg and Bret Hart Elite 2-pack. There's some controversial history with that 2-pack in general, so it's a little bit of a shock to see not only that 2-pack, but with so much great detail in there. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and how that came about?
Yeah, I think it was just we wanted to celebrate sort of WCW as a whole, and we also wanted a way to introduce the I believe it's the U.S. title belt into the mix. It's it's sort of been WCW belts have sort of been like a hole in our lineup that we haven't gotten to fill yet. And, this was the SKU where we decided, this is where we should put it with a celebration of WCW. And then also people have been asking for a Bret Hart WCW, so it made sense to use it here because he was a U.S. champion. Mm-hmm. And then probably one of the most memorable things that Bret Hart did in WCW was the angle where Goldberg speared him and he had the plate. And so it just made a whole lot of sense to sort of combine all these things together to celebrate WCW as like for their role in history.
Yeah. I think to Bill's point, it fulfills a lot of asks, right? WCW, Bret, check. U.S. title, first time ever in the line, check. A new WCW Goldberg, and I know Goldberg, sells really well, so check there. And plus the bonus items of that Nitro shirt, first time ever as well, and the plate, the steel plate for Bret. So a lot of cool things there in one offering. So very happy with getting this out to the public. And
also Bret Hart's round sunglasses, which he wore only in WCW. So kind of makes it that much more of a WCW Bret.
That's attention to detail, right? It looks great. Would this, a question that I'd have there, this kind of opens the floodgates for other WCW championship belts possibly, and also just WCW in general. When you say you want to celebrate it and you're starting with this 2-pack, could we see more things in the future?
Yeah. So I've been pretty active on the forums, and a lot of the requests are for new titles. And without revealing anything, I've been very transparent that, one of our goals is to get out as many new titles as possible. So, you've seen a taste of that this weekend with the WCW US title, with the women's tag title, the blue Universal title, etc., the Fiend custom title, right? So it's just the beginning. We have more titles coming, and I think you guys are going to be really excited to see what's around the corner title-wise.
Awesome. Can't wait. Moving on a little bit. So we did see some new reveals with the Elite Collection series. So we were able to see Series 78 and 79. In both those lines, we have a new Kofi Kingston, new Randy Orton, new Matt Riddle, R-Truth, a Naomi, a Drake Maverick, a really decked out superstar Billy Graham. That was in Elite 78. In Elite 79, we also saw Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Big E, Xavier Woods, and Bobby Fish. So the next couple of Elite lines are really decked out. How do you feel about those, and is there anything special you'd like to talk about with any of those individual pieces?
Like, you did forget one figure in 79, and that's probably my favorite that I worked on that line. Maybe a tie, but it's one of them, was the Io Shirai figure. Because
I had a hard time saying it. So.
Yeah. As of this taping, I am declaring that I am the best designer of Japanese female professional wrestling action figures in the history of time, really. I'm going to stake that claim. And I'm welcome for challengers. I know that there's someone who's working on another brand somewhere maybe that might have a go at my crown. But for right now, I'm staking that claim. And I love this, the way I have a sample of the figure here. I love how this figure turned out. I don't know if we showed pictures of the back of the jacket with the hood. Sorry, my computer's a little wild.
Great. So clearly some soft goods there.
Yeah, this is brilliant. Our soft good designers are, the best in the industry. I mean, considering who, what other stuff they work on. I have access to some amazing coworkers that I have expectations of how good something's going to be, and when the final comes in and it's even like above that bar, I love that. I love that I get to work with that.
Jaw hits the floor, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When everything comes together and you get a first sample like this from the factory, it's like, this is you work the long hard hours, and it's like this is why you do this. This is why you work really hard at what you do.
Awesome.
Yeah. Tom, you mentioned like the lineups in general, and I think you're seeing the fruits of our labor and approach to how we want to do these lineups, like really a something for everyone type of approach. Like no matter what type of collector you are, whether you like, Raw and SmackDown superstars, NXT superstars, legends, if you're just a female figure only fan, like we're trying to get something in these lineups for everybody. You mentioned superstar Billy Graham, Io Shirai, like very, very varied talent inclusions in these lineups. And, we're seeing fans react positively to it. So we're going to keep it up.
I was going to say there's a great mix at the moment of, current superstars, classic superstars in what you're doing. And it's great to see that you're considering it in just like this kind of well-rounded way that's working for everyone. And that's pretty awesome. We appreciate you guys for that.
All right. Thank you.
Checking in on Ultimate Edition, we did see an amazing Ultimate Edition version of The Rock. And also, Ringside Collectibles was able to announce one of their upcoming exclusives, which was the Ultimate Edition of Charlotte, which also looks incredible. Ultimate Edition, there's a lot of detail and a lot of effort, obviously, going into this. How are you feeling about that line? How are you feeling about its future? Obviously, an Ultimate Edition figure being a Ringside Collectibles exclusive, that's a first-time thing. That's a huge step for that line, I would say. How are you feeling about it overall?
Well, first, let me say, John, the Hall of Fame, you're not supposed to talk about Vince McMahon, right? I feel like that's how we are with John sometimes. But, John and we have a great relationship, and we've talked about the possibility of an Ultimate Edition figure as their exclusive for quite a while now. So it's really exciting to offer Charlotte through Ringside Collectibles here. As far as, looking to the future of the line, we showed a nice amount of Ultimate Edition figures during the panel. So the line is healthy. It's going to continue to be available at mass retail, as well as, great accounts like RingsideCollectibles.com. So we're going to keep pumping out Ultimate Edition figures as long as you guys keep supporting the line. And, you know, talent-wise, I'm very excited of what's around the corner. You know, not only the Charlotte and the Rock, but, you know, Hollywood Hogan, The Fiend, Macho Man Randy Savage from his match with Jake the Snake at Saturday night's main event. And I'm really dying to see what that soft goods jacket is going to look like. And plus, it's a little wink to the old retro style figure from another company.
Which company?
I don't know. I can't remember.
So, Bill, when it comes to the Ultimate Edition line, from a work perspective, just going into a little more detail about how challenging that is for you from like a deco perspective or a tooling perspective, do you look at that? Do you approach that the same way that you do as an Elite, or do you also think like, you know, this is Ultimate Edition, you know, maybe the budget's a little bit bigger, but also you may have to put in a little more like work there? How do you feel about that line from like
I try to look at it as like these are figures that, because they're ultimates, you know, they're you know, you're focusing on the top, you know, talent in the history of WWE, and chances are that, you know, a collector may have, you know, one or two figures of this character already. So what makes them ultimate? Like, what can you do differently to, you know, buy, you know, an ultimate version of this character? And I think for someone like The Rock, I think the new heads and the posability, we've got new, we were able to get like a head where he's like doing like the, it doesn't matter. And he's, you know,
yeah.
I can do a, you know, I have this, I have the Rock one here, and he's got the open mouth, so he can, you know, cock his head to the side and put the microphone up to his lips. And, you know, it doesn't matter, or la, 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 la. I mean, yeah. The fact that you can pose it like that, I mean, it just, I would want that. So yeah. I'm glad that I'm able to like design that, and for the people, you know, I'm assuming that other people are like me and want that as well. And the Charlotte, I know we did an Elite Charlotte before that I thought was really good, but this new one that I have, I mean, this is, I don't know if you can get a good look at the likeness. Maybe the web camera is not that great, but I mean, the likeness is the female figures now with the new DIJ process is it's remarkable. Just we're able to reproduce, you know, the female faces exactly as they appear on TV, which is, you know, even like 2 years ago, we couldn't do that. So now it's like, you know, we're constantly improving. And then I don't know if you can, I don't know if we've shown this yet, but the robe, I mean, it's got it's spectacular. Like, once again, our soft good teams is best in the industry, and they produce such good work. And she's got the posed hands, so she can do her trademark pose with the posing out the hands. The fan is blowing the sleeve.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the Charlotte one was that one was a lot of work because of the complexity of the soft goods, the complexity of the deco, making sure you get the head appearance right, because you have a lot less leeway to sort of screw up with a female face just because so many more, you know, variables involved. And when something like that lands, and you see, again, when you see the first sample of that show up, and it's like it looks like exactly how you envisioned it in your mind, it's such a great feeling. Definitely.
That's awesome, man. I think it escalates playability and posability, which are two really important things for collectors, and then even anybody that just wants to play with the figures, to a new level. And I wouldn't just say from a detail perspective that's limited to your line. I think you have one of the greatest action figure lines in existence from a you know, the 6 to 7 inch scale today, in my opinion. And it just never ceases to amaze. So very cool.
Thanks, Tom. And, you know, I've told the story a few times of us creating the line, but, you know, one of the huge factors in our thinking behind it was really to give something to those action figure photographers, you know, that we see on social media, like all that, you know, great work we see from great accounts like, you know, Squared Circle photography and SLS animations and, you know, so many others. I figured it out, like great stuff. And we just wanted figures that allowed them to recreate those WWE moments in the most accurate way possible. And we're very happy with the results.
it's a lot of fun. You see some of the work that those folks are putting into, you know, the pieces and figures that you guys are coming out with. It's incredible. There are some other action figure lines that kind of touch it a little bit, but there's just so much detail and so much accuracy. And you know, as a lifelong toy collector, I can't say I've ever seen anything like or felt anything like the moment we're in right now for what we can do with action figures. It's really awesome. And you guys are a big part of bringing that to us. So continuing on, we did reference Ringside exclusive there briefly. There was a huge reveal yesterday for another Ringside exclusive, and that is the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, which is something that folks have been clamoring for ages. It's certainly one of the coolest possible things on WWE TV in a long time that we could envision as a figure. So to see it actually come to life is going to be awesome. So Bill, I know you have a version of that over there. If you can show it.
Yeah, I got a final production sample on it. I just wanted to point out that there actually is a few sort of differences between the sample that was shot for the show and what will actually be in production. So just want to show that the final torso, we have removed the belly button indent.
Look at that.
Which kind of looked a little bit unnatural in the photo, and now with the paint on the torso, it looks more like the skin tight sweater he wore.
Yeah.
And then also the eye deco on the witch was missing in that one. So as you can see here, I'm trying to bring this as close to the camera as possible. You'd be as spooky as possible. It does have the blue eye deco on the figure. And also, I'm just gonna this is happening off camera. I'm putting the puppets on the hand to just show how seamlessly they fit on the hands of the figure.
Look at that.
Wow.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
And, you know, Bray obviously doesn't typically puppeteer the puppets, so you can use your other figures with the swappable hands feature to hold up those puppets for you.
Amazing.
And Steve, have we revealed the packaging on this yet?
We haven't. But I'll talk about it a little. You don't have it handy, do you, Bill?
Maybe.
Uh-oh. You guys are sneaky. Come on.
Let's give a sneak peek. Don't show the whole thing, but let's give a sneak peek.
Okay, I am going to show, I'm not going to show the outside of the package, but I want to show something that comes with the package. And that is,
please. Ooh.
It comes with the backdrop.
Amazing.
And there are actually little pop-out places where you can pop out and push the puppets through. So they can pose exactly like they do on the on TV.
On Firefly Funhouse.
On Firefly Funhouse. I am going to keep the actual box a secret, though, because it's spectacular. And I don't want to give away everything here, but it's something that I thought that backdrop also is just something that just makes this, exclusive, like, I think it's like another level already, but now it's like turbocharged another level.
So cool. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
I was going to say it seems almost in line with what you guys were doing for a while with Epic Moments, except maybe even like more intense than that, which is very cool. Bill, I'm going to...
we tried to do some fun Easter eggs with all the Ringside packaging this year, and this is another sort of something we've done for the Firefly Funhouse Bray.
Awesome. And I'm going to come to your defense on the whole belly button controversy and the way that the shirt is painted on, because you're absolutely right. When Bray Wyatt wears that shirt on TV, it's super skin tight, and the likelihood that maybe a soft good could have been that tight or looked that good on him, I don't know if it would match really how it looks comparatively with the sample that you just gave us. So I'm here to come to your defense, and I think that it looks great, and I think it's going to be a great exclusive. And when people see it in package, obviously, the puppets, which we otherwise wouldn't have gotten, just everything as a whole, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, you're getting a Firefly Bray Wyatt with 4 of his puppets. I mean, I'm surprised anyone complained, but if anyone did, it was stuff we were aware of, from the beginning anyway. So
Accurately skin tight.
yeah,
Perfect.
We need a burst on packaging that says that.
maybe we can put a little sticker on it.
I'd be down for it. If Ringside Collectibles is listening, maybe we start putting those stickers now, and they're just they go on when we send them out. But maybe we'll see. So also worthy of mentioning, we did see a bunch of previews of some figures in the basic assortment, like the WWE series line. Folks like Mia Yim is coming in Series 113. Humberto Carrillo, Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, Tony Storm. We'll see a new Jeff Hardy. We'll see a version of Bray Wyatt there, an Eric Rowan, a Kevin Owens, and even a Nikki Cross figure. Obviously, some folks that are no longer with the company, but it's still nice to see some of their figures able to come out anyway, especially with that level of detail. And this also shows that the basic assortment is still an ongoing strong part of the line. Do you feel like folks are responding to that series as well as they are like the Elite line? And any of the names I named, anything you want to reference and how you feel about how they came out?
Yeah, the basic line. I mean, it's such an important line for us. You know, I feel like as far as like sales popularity goes, it's like fluctuating between elites and basics back and forth. Yeah. So I mean, it performs like powerfully well still for us. So it's a very important line. And, you know, I did get a question on the forums maybe yesterday or today about, you know, why some of these first time in the line characters were basics before elites or instead of elites. And it's because the basics line is super popular still, and it needs the love and attention, the same love and attention that the elite line gets from a talent perspective. So yeah, you know, it's an important line. It's still super popular. It's probably the best $10 figure on the market in reality. You know, when you think about the competition, like very proud of that line. And you know, the talent is just great at creating even more excitement for it. You know, first time Mia Yim, first time Tegan Knox, et cetera, et cetera. So really happy to finally get these guys out in action figure form. And let me just say, just because they're appearing in basics doesn't mean they won't eventually get elites. Of course, you know, they'll be considered for future elites. We try to get everybody out in both lines. So really exciting things to come from both basics and elites.
Cool. Yeah, it's sort of a mixture of the strategy, you know, that we've always had is, you know, when I first started long time ago was, you know, to get as much of the characters out as possible. And, you know, just sort of limiting new character debuts to just only in one of the lines, whether it be basic or elite, is counterproductive. So you want to make sure that you have new talent across, you know, all your offerings to make them as you know, interesting as possible to the consumer.
Makes total sense to me. Taking it back to a little bit of a classic character, if you will, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive this year was honestly one of my personal favorites to see, as I'm a massive Mr. T fan, even outside of wrestling. So to get a Mr. T with that level of detail, I actually had the old, I think it's like a 10-inch doll, this Mr. T, that I was able to get when I was much younger, and it was one of my favorite things that I owned. So to see a new version of this Mr. T available is absolutely awesome. So you nailed the exclusive this year. Mr. T also is a huge surprise. That was maybe in the back of some folks' minds, but not necessarily right out front for everyone. Can you tell me a little bit about that figure and you know how it came about?
Yeah.
I've always wanted one in the line. Like even from like when I started so long ago, it was always for me like there's never been a Mr. T WWE figure, you know, and he was one of you know, like he was in the main event of WrestleMania, and he never had an action figure. That always was sort of like a huge oversight to me, you know, as a long-term collector. And so he's always sort of been one of those, like, I really hope one day we get the rights to Mr. T. And then, you know, recently, like, negotiations happened to the point where, you know, WWE actually assigned him to their Legends program, And so we decided it's like, okay, that's our Comic-Con exclusive, but we gotta keep this on the secret. So when we debut it, like we have something to top, Slim Jim Macho. I mean, we did so well with Slim Jim Macho last year. We kind of set an impossible bar to go over. And then I think we did. I think we actually like pole vaulted over the bar. I mean, I don't know what we do for 2021 to top this, but we've we've set an impossible standard 2 years in a row. So, and then being able to design it and then, have, play a part on the Mattel Creations end of it. You spotlighted on that panel this year. I mean, I've been very, very lucky and humbled and, this year to be a part of a lot of really cool things. So I don't take it for granted.
Yeah. I think looking at next year, it's going to be like make Steve sweat, not just make Bill sweat. So, because I don't know how we're going to top this. But, let me just give a quick shout out to WWE for what they did to sign Mr. T for us. Because as Bill said, he's never had a WWE figure ever before, which is mind-boggling to me, to all of us. But, they were so great with us in partnering with us to get this deal, signed. And then when we said we wanted to make this happen for Comic-Con, it was just perfect. It all came together, in the end after a lot of hard work, very well. And I also want to give another shout out to our packaging team, who they don't typically get a lot of the spotlight, but I won't expose their names to keep their secret identities intact, but they kill it. They kill it with, last year's Slim Jim Macho Man with the Retrofest packaging, all kinds of great packaging executions. But you can see here what a fantastic job they did with this. This is the outer shipper box. And then you open that up, and then you get this WrestleMania 1 style VHS homage case, even with the old homage to the Coliseum video logo there. And then you open it up and ultra collector friendly. You don't have to destroy anything to get the figure out of the box. You just lift this up and there's your Mr. T figure. So, super excited to add him to the line. And it's not the end of Mr. T figures, as we mentioned in the panel. Super stoked that the next Mr. T figure is going to be, next Mr. T Elite figure is going to be the Mr. T versus Roddy Piper boxing match 2-pack from WrestleMania 2.
So exciting.
And I actually just got the first factory sample of that shipped to me for evaluations. So this is the actual, first factory sample of the figure. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, I love playing with this thing. It almost makes me want to work on a boxing line too. I was going to say,
that's like Clubber Lang in disguise right there.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Like, it's so much fun when you see something like that and you just play around and pose it and do it with the fists. Like, it's just, again, certain times it's just this job, it's a lot of work, but sometimes it's a lot of fun.
Also, Bill, that's the first time we've seen Piper in the line for a while, right? So it'll be good to get another Piper figure. I may be a little off base on that, but I feel like it's been a while since we've seen an Elite one.
I think Hall of Fame, right? Might have been the last Piper figure.
Yeah, I think the last one was like the tail end of Hall of Fame. So yeah, it's been a while. It's about time to get him back in the mix.
Yeah, so we're super happy this is coming out, and this is going to be predominantly online. So absolutely, if you're interested in this, pre-order at ringsidecollectibles.com and get this one because as you mentioned, first time Piper in quite a while, and the T is so unique, and that match is definitely iconic to WrestleMania and classic WWE.
Love it.
And you can put the boxing gloves on any other figure too if you want. So they're
really? So they're removable.
So if you want to make like a boxing, Bret the Hitman Hart, you can do that. Or
I'm waiting to see who can build out a Butterbean in the collector community, and then
someone will. Someone will.
Yeah. So before we move on to the Q&A portion, you guys showed also a ton of amazing elites yesterday. Some that we've mentioned, but others that we haven't even really had the chance to mention. I'm going to run down the line really fast so we can get to answering the important questions. But stop me or let me know at the end of it if there's anything you want to call out. But we're looking at Io Shirai, a new Undertaker, a Ricochet, an updated Bailey. I believe this is like the cranky Bailey, I'll call her.
Yeah, so let's just pause and get caught up there for a second. So Undertaker, first of all, once again, I don't have the packaging in front of me, but I believe you guys have the packaging, and hopefully you can flash it on the screen. But it's like celebrating 30 years of Undertaker in WWE. Once again, packaging team absolutely killed it. Phenomenal packaging, and what a great way to celebrate the Undertaker's 30th anniversary with WWE. And then Bayley. Bill, tell us about that Bayley figure.
That Bayley figure was a lot of fun. Just the minute she came out and destroyed that tube man, I was like, okay, we got to put Bayley in the elite line, and the accessory has to be the dead tube man. Because I remember how happy I was that when we first did the elite Bayley in the NXT line to have like all 4 tube men as build the parts, so you could have like the Bayley entrance. And then when she ruined it, I'm like, we got to celebrate her ruining this entrance too.
Now, I'll give a little inside info there for people who like this kind of thing. We actually did have a Bayley scheduled a few months prior to this. But then once she turned heel, cut her hair, and killed the tube man, we had to shift gears and move towards this look.
It looks great. Can't wait to see the dead tube man on people's on people's shelves. So that's very exciting. In the next Elite collection that we had revealed, we were able to see Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, finally see them get the Elite treatment. We're also seeing Bianca Belair in that line. We also have a stunning Steve Austin in that set, which looks great. Anything there specific that you'd want to reference? I know it's been a while since we've considered that, or you'd been speaking about that, so that one's a cool one to see.
That's another one that sort of percolated in the back of my head, is like, I want to try to do this at some point. And it would be a great place to debut, I think, at the WCW Tag Titles.
Yep,
This is the figure where, with the we're using the 2-pack to get the U.S. title in, and then we're using the stunning Steve Austin Hollywood Blondes to debut the WCW Tag Title. And he also comes with the Hollywood clicker, which I'm trying to show with my hands here, and I probably am failing pretty badly.
Very cool. Very cool. Stunning indeed. And also in that series, you did reveal Mae Young, which is a personal favorite of mine after growing up Attitude Era style. So that was amazing to see.
Staple of the Attitude Era, right?
Absolutely.
She's a must inclusion in the line, absolutely. And she comes with the Mae Young tournament trophy, which is an awesome bonus accessory.
And the crown. Great. During the panel, I realized how crown heavy the lineup is. It seems like every other character gets a crown, and they're entirely unique crowns. So
I feel like it's going to be the year of crowns, titles, and puppets.
Yeah.
It should be a very exciting year for everyone. That's a very, very regal and respected. So it sounds cool to me. In Elite Series 82, we saw a new Alexa Bliss revealed. Jerry the King Lawler, speaking of crowns.
Oh, yeah. Alexa has the first time in the line women's tag titles. Going back to that Bayley comment I made earlier, Bayley would have had the tag title a little bit earlier, but we did shift gears, and it's now going to be with Alexa. So apologies for the slight delay there, but, we're getting it out. And I think, figurally wise, when you look at what we had to do to update Bayley, I think, we made the right call here. So just a delay by a few months. And then Jerry Lawler, I see that request all the time, and I've seen it for years. So very excited to get that new generation era Jerry Lawler out from that time frame when he was feuding with Bret Hart.
Excellent. Also, you revealed a new British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
And Matilda.
Matilda was also included.
First time in the line, legend Matilda.
Excellent.
So
with a leash included, which shows that you're taking it to an even higher level than maybe the last Matilda we saw.
And you can take the dog off the leash, too, so you can have him run after Jimmy Hart.
Yeah. We need to keep it under control so Matilda doesn't attack Jimmy or Bobby, but when it's time to attack, unleash the beast.
Some other reveals as part of the Elite line where we saw a King Corbin. So that's looking pretty great. Again, speaking of crowns, we saw Angel Garza revealed, Kushida and Rhea Ripley as well.
Yeah. So King Corbin, there's another one where, gimmick change essentially caused a little bit of a delay. You know, like Constable Corbin was kind of, you know, penciled in at one point, and then he changes the gimmick to King Corbin. So we shifted gears appropriately, you know, to get the King Corbin out. But it did cause like a little bit of a delay. But once again, I think it was the right move to make, you know, rather than like, you know, getting out the Constable Corbin and then having a long period of time between figures to get the King Corbin out. I think we made the right call to just shift gears and go with King Corbin.
Definitely.
Yeah, from a visual standpoint, I think that figure is a sleeper. I mean, it's one of those, like, when you see all the pieces together on the design sheet, it looks so cool. Like, I'm so happy with how that one turned out.
Looks good. And then again, Angel Garza, Kushida, Rhea Ripley, and also a reveal of Candice LeRae as well. So lots of variety, lots of newer folks, we'll say.
Bill, do you want to give us a hint of what's coming with Angel Garza?
Oh yeah, I mean, there was some people mentioning that there was no track pants or pants in the image, but just because you don't see soft goods in these reveals doesn't mean the figures come without soft goods. I think that's sort of, you know, with a lot of these reveals that are not, you know, actual photos of figures, the soft good parts are still under development, so you can't really pose them together. So if you see a figure where you think it should have soft goods and it doesn't, that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have it. So
just daydream a little bit until it shows up.
Yeah.
Just, you know. Sounds good. Also revealed, I think this was actually even more recently, as you've been revealing it over the Comic-Con time frame. We did see the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar. That was great to see them in super intense accessories and molding there, right?
That one I'm really, really happy with. That one was it was difficult to get figures of that complexity in the line, so there was a little bit of a delay between their debut in NXT and getting them in the line, but getting them in, you know, it's tricky with the tag team because you kind of have to reveal, put them both in the lineup together, and then finding a lineup that where they work, and then making sure that, you know, those are two pretty deco and tooling intensive figures. So making a lineup where you can include something like that without shortchanging any other figures in that assortment. And I think if you look at the rest of the assortment that they come with, none of those figures are getting shortchanged at all. Like, it's a really solid assortment. So that's why there was a little bit of they might have been out quicker, but I want to make sure that we did them right. Like, I'd rather do it right, you know, than rush something in the lineup and then, you know, do like a, you know, halfway version.
Yeah, to Bill's point, those guys deserved the new tooling that they got, and they deserve to be done right. And sometimes that makes things take a little bit longer, right? Because the stars have to align to let us be able to accomplish that. So I think, you know, I'm kind of happy that some of this transparency is happening for the viewers here. You see the rationale behind some of these things. You know, we're fans, right? We love these figures. We collect them. I have every Elite figure. But, you know, we need some patience, and we're going to get it right for you, and we're going to get out, you know, the characters and looks that you guys want, given time, and like I said, the stars aligning for everything.
Definitely. Yeah, doing it right is just so much better, especially with wrestling figures that have historically had challenges with that, but, you know, not necessarily with Mattel, but doing it right and having that patience to see these figures come out like in their best possible with their best possible look, and essentially the best way you could release them is totally worth it, in my opinion. And you know, it's a little challenging when you want to add it to your figure fed a little bit sooner so you can match what's happening on TV, but also when it does come, it's totally worth it. So also revealed that we did see a new Kevin Owens, a Kyle O'Reilly, a classic Rocky Johnson was also great to see with the soft goods robe. Very awesome. That'll be a nice tribute to him there. And you also revealed a Keith Lee, John Morrison. Great to see an updated version of him. And how do you feel about any of the ones that I just named there before I move on to this last one?
Keith Lee is a force to be reckoned with, stardom wise. Like, he's you know, licensed to print money in the future, hopefully. But that dude has charisma and talent in the ring and everything. So I'm so excited to get an elite Keith Lee, and he's going to be the chase in that wave. So you have 2 decos to choose from. So you get two elite Keith Lees if you so choose. But yeah, very, very stoked about Keith Lee. Rocky Johnson, very excited as well. You know, I love the Legends figures and flashback figures. And he's so iconic and important. So I'm very happy we're finally able to get out the Rocky Johnson figure that had been rumored for quite some time.
Yeah, that was something that sort of was worked on previously, and then, you know, for reasons, you know, just never was able to get across the finish line. And so be able to like actually get that to final production is very satisfying.
It turned out great. Can't wait to see it released and in packaging and everything. I have one last Elite Collection mainline name here that I want to bring up quickly because there's a lot of heat and fire thrown at it, which I don't necessarily think is directed at you guys, but Rob Gronkowski is going to be getting an elite figure treatment. He's not everybody's favorite, it seems like. He's got a lot of real what the folks in the business call go away heat. And
nuclear heat.
What's that?
Nuclear heat.
Nuclear heat for sure. I personally have a hard time with Rob Gronkowski because I am living in Patriots land, and I couldn't be further from a Patriots fan. I in fact hate the Patriots. So even I am going to try to lead this into a some sort of area of sunshine. So let's talk about the Gronkowski figure quickly, how it came to kind of be put in the line. Obviously he was a staple at WrestleMania, and kind of why we're seeing that and why it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, because it really is a great thing to have someone like Gronk in the line, right? He has a mainstream level of recognition, which, when you include guys like Gronk or Mr. T in the line, it brings new eyes to the line in general. And for me, like when I think about like the psychology of a collector, because it's my own psychology, right? It only takes like one figure, one thing to get somebody hooked, right? Whether that's Mr. T or Gronk or whatever. So it's like if one, outsider who doesn't collect WWE figures, but is interested in general, right? Sees that Gronk and that pushes him over the edge, like you kind of dive in after that. I think we've all experienced that with various lines. Like it just takes that one thing to like nudge you over the edge and like, oh my God, now I have like 100 figures in a month. How did this happen? So from a collector standpoint and growing our collectors, it's helpful. Plus, it excites retailers. It excites, everyone involved in the process. Like when you have a name like that. We do things, obviously, this is the toy industry. You have to sell in the line, sell in figures. We have meetings and everything, right? And when you bring up Mr. T, Gronk, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, like these names are huge names, right? And when you say those names, like casual people, like they perk up like, oh my God, yeah, what? Gronk is in the line? So it's super helpful. So even if, maybe that figure is not for you, it's super helpful overall, and you're going to reap the benefits in the long run because the line is healthier, right? Using someone like Gronk properly, like maybe that leads to other similar talents who maybe the fans, will embrace a bit more, are included. But Gronk is great for the line. He's such a great personality, and the work Bill did on the figure is tremendous. We didn't get to show it, but he's going to have an amazing soft goods jacket. So Bill, why don't you tell us about the actual figure and the deco and the accessories?
Yeah, the Gronk figure is actually based off his appearance at WrestleMania. So it will have the I guess it's like a blue zebra pattern jackets and the microphone and the sunglasses and a pretty great head sculpt. I think our sculptors did an amazing job with that.
It looks pretty spot on. It definitely has that winning smile that Gronk tends to carry and make everybody happy with. But Steve, to your point, I think that's a great point. We should definitely just think about the fact that it's more exposure for the line. It may not be for you, but if it is for you, maybe you get it and you dissect it or something, or I don't know, throw it straight up in the air and see how hard it can hit the ground. It's something like that. Don't try it at home. But
Speaking to Steve, you do a Gronk figure because that's probably that's a figure that might get discussed on SportsCenter or something, and
Sure.
like or sports programming on channels outside of what a WWE fan might be watching consistently, and it brings new eyeballs in. So there is a sound strategy behind it.
Yeah, and we're super excited. Like I said, he's such a larger than life personality. It's exciting to get him into the line, and the figure is going to look great in the end. I'm happy to include it in my collection. I'm excited, and it's going to be helpful for everyone in the long run. So it's like everyone really does win by getting this figure out there.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. I'm on board. I'm still not a Patriots fan, and I'm definitely not a Bucks fan.
Well, I'm not either. I'm a Bears fan. I was born in Chicago, so I'll never root for the Patriots. But
well, I'm a Saints fan, so I'm just struggling right now. So a couple other things to just call out quickly before we move to the Q&A. We did see the Wrestlemania Celebration figures. It's Andre the Giant with the Mania ring cart, and then Randy Savage with the Mania ring cart. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah. I have, let me lead into this, Bill, and I'll turn it over to you. So this line, Wrestlemania Celebration, and this is another thing I've seen some questions about, like how is this going to be offered, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, this is going to take the place of the WrestleMania 2-packs for 2021. We've always had those WrestleMania 2-packs, but we thought, like, how do we change this up and freshen it up and make things exciting, right? So rather than two basic figures together, you're going to get a basic figure of two unbelievable icons of WrestleMania with a ring cart each. So it'll be Andre and ring cart, or Macho Man and ring cart. So basically a 2-pack, but instead of two figures, you get a figure and a ring cart. And I can't believe, once again, talking about Mr. T, it took 30 plus years to get a WWE figure of him. Same thing for the ring cart. Like, it's never been done before, right? So I'm so stoked to get the ring cart finally out there in toy form.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring this into view real quick. This is the Andre the Giant, and then I put my Bobby the Brain Heenan figure in there with him just to show that you can fit two figures in the ring cart pretty accurately. And then it does have wheels on the bottom, which maybe I can point this to the camera. So it can this will actually roll and slide like the actual WrestleMania ring carts. I know they weren't shown in the photos that were released, but it definitely will be there, so you can recreate the moment as accurately as possible.
You got to show that Andre head. That might be.
I was gonna say,
our best Andre.
Yeah, let me pull him.
That we've ever done.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. Again, the true effects.
Oh
sure.
Yeah! Wow. Excellent.
Yeah,
I can hear him asking if anybody wants a peanut right now. Spot on, man. Love it. So you also showed off some other WrestleMania elites, Goldberg, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and then another Chyna. So great to see her get another shot in the line as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we mentioned last year that we're going to do as many Chynas as we can, essentially, during our panel when we revealed her, and we are. She has so many unique looks to choose from, and she really was like a trailblazer for women in professional wrestling. So that was really my most exciting reveal last year, was that first ever Chyna. So very excited to get her into the WrestleMania Elite line. And you mentioned some other great figures there, like that Edge. Like, Bill, tell us, why that one's so cool.
Well, besides the fact that when you asked, like, what edge would you, on the panel, what edge would you want, and he mentioned it, and then it's like, oh, he's going to be very happy, because in 5 minutes we're going to show this figure. That was probably the best part of it. But yeah, I mean, that match was unbelievable, and it's such a distinct look for Edge. So when he re-signs with the company, you get the rights to do Edge again. It's like, well, we got to do that for WrestleMania because it's so cool and so different. And when you line up with the rest of your edges, it's going to look completely, completely different from any other figure in your Edge collection. So, yeah, and we did it's got a new unique head, which gets his, like, at that time he was like probably the most maniacal he was as a WWE superstar. So he captures his craziness perfectly. I'm very satisfied with how that one turned out.
And we've got that Shawn from WrestleMania 9, I think, right? Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
I mean, that and Goldberg with the first ever blue version of the Universal title. And like I said before, Goldberg like sells great. So, you know, happy to get another Goldberg out and plus him up with that blue Universal title. And, you know, last year we launched Build-A-Figures in WrestleMania Elites. So this year we're utilizing that mechanism to get out the long-lost Paul Ellering figure. And we plussed him up, too. So how do we plus him up,
Oh,
Bill?
did we? Yeah, this is. I'm so happy about this because I remember when we sort of lost Paul Ellering in the lineup. I was like, God, that's such a shame that like we couldn't find a spot for him because you know at the time he was no longer managing AOP, and it was like it's he's just going to be one of those that's sort of lost to the sands of time. But when it became it's perfect for the WrestleMania Build-A-Figure slot, and then. But we have a little extra to play with. Could we possibly do back not only that but like back in the day Paul Ellering when he had hair, and then if you do back in the day Paul Ellering when he had hair, it's like can we fit in Rocco? Like, can we actually do that? And then to find out that like we could, and that and this all came together, and we hit the budget on this, being able to include like 4 figures. They all have a complete set of accessories, and you have parts to build Paul Ellering and Rocco. Like, I don't know how he pulled this off, to be honest with you.
I think the Rocco inclusion is what really sealed the deal for you, Bill, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, it's just like, again, there's sometimes you just like, you're giggling to yourself. Like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this.
Yeah, this figure and like Bill said, hitting budget, we don't talk about things like that often, but it took a little bit of work, and finessing to make it happen. And I remember like either texting or emailing Bill, like as I like cracked the code on making it work and like how excited he was. So, we worked really hard to get Paul back into the line, and this wave in general, and very, very happy and satisfied how it's coming out.
It turned out great. And I think it sums up the fact that you guys are cooking with gas to see that actually put into the line. And, just overall, it's going to be awesome to see everything that you're doing now come out. It only makes me wonder what's in store for the future. So bang up job, guys. I think you're doing excellent work, and it's awesome to see. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tom.